Today is April 13th. The Yankees lose another series. Boo. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old John Boy, Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme, and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake. Talking Yanks with old John Boy, and Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Jimmy. His name is Jake. We got BBD producing in the corner, and we are going to recap the series that was. Brought to you by SeatGeek. Yankees lose. They've lost 2 out of their last 7 games. No, they've won 2 out of the last 7. They're 2-5 in the last 7 games. They've now lost 4 series on the season and have only won 1 series. Yet they have a winning record and they're in second place. Jake, how are you doing?
James Davis. Okay. I mean, like the worst weather you can have in baseball and not in baseball, like 40 and rainy. Yikes. Man, the first game of this series was so awful. And then, I was chuckling this morning that it was like, damn, like the fact the Yankees can win this series feels crazy. And then they're up 3-0. They're looking really good against Logan Webb, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. They've got a couple chances to really stretch it out. And with 2 swings from one guy, you're like, what? And now we're going to lose this, and now everything feels bad, and the pitching feels thin, and do we struggle with lefties, and all the dark thoughts kick in that tough, man. I'm excited to yuck with you a little bit, because now we've got, like, real stuff to chew on.
A little bit. It's early. I know it's past April 10th,
Right.
but I was laughing because when they were up 3-1, I was prepping, like, awards and talking points. And it was kind of fun stuff about the lineup.
Right.
And, like, there's some fun stuff happening with the lineup that I like. And then they lose, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, well, now these 3 runs feel like tiny, and it just disappears. And that's a pretty fragile state of, like, good and bad. But it makes sense.
Right.
They would be 9-6. They would have won 3 series, have lost 3 series, the cold weather, we're in a point where there's not much. There is, I guess. It's early, but it's not. It still doesn't feel like baseball to me, which is pissing me off. And that's like a personal. Well, I don't think it's a personal thing. I've seen a lot of Yankees fans doing this, but if you're not a Yankees fan, you don't care about it. And I don't care about it. I'm not using it as an excuse for the losses. But for my own fandom, the weather, the start times, it's like the season still feels like we're in, like, the epilogue, which stinks.
The weather's crazy. I think the best way to put it, because I think you and me think we're coming off as complaining, because it's like, hey, Yankees baseball is back on. But also, dude, on one of the other screens today is Guardians Royals. And I was like, damn, those are 2 teams that are, like, competing for the AL Central this year. And, like, their seasons matter, where the Yankees and the Giants, the Pirates, the D-backs, and the Brewers seasons aren't really going to overlap. And that's 4 of the 5 series. So, it's a little bizarre. And it's what you were saying. I guess I'm saying it in a good way. Like, the fragileness of baseball is back in that they win this series, and we're walking tall, and music sounds a little better, and maybe I will get a little ice cream snack tonight. And now they lose to the Giants, and Giancarlo's going for walks outside. That I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not happy.
Not happy. Well,
kind of sad.
Pretty sad.
I will give a preview, and then we'll talk through it as we burn the games, talk about the games, do the awards. And the preview is, I think right now, the pitching is more of a concern than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And I started out saying I trust the Yankees to get starters and get through a season with starting pitching. And there's other people that started out saying like season was over because the pitching staff and it was bad. And I think both me and those people feel worse than what we felt earlier. Like, I don't think they're staying the same. I think they're even worse. Like, it has been atrocious and a bad watch outside of Max Fried and Luke Weaver. I don't think there's anyone else that is free of the concerns of the staff and bullpen besides those two.
Maybe Tim Hill. It's always a maybe Tim Hill.
but Boone's usage of him is kind of weirding me out.
Yeah.
That's not Tim Hill's fault, but it's like the way they're using him.
Yeah, I think the other thing, Zimbabwe, is that they also, I was wondering why this does feel just a little too dark for, like, okay, 8-7 Yankees, whatever. But dude, it's also because, I mean, since that start of the season, they win 3 games and torpedo bats and the Bronx Bombers and all the cash. Since then, they're what, 5-7? So that makes a little more sense. It feels more 5-7 than 8-7 because opening weekend kind of didn't feel real in the best way.
Yeah. All right, we'll get into all of that. I'll do the grounds creeping. I'll do all that. Also, there are 2 Yankee fans that you guys know and love, Joe's McFly and Dan Rourke, facing off in a game tonight on the Warehouse Games channel. And there's a moment in this game, Jake, where I react like I'm at a dunk competition, and I really got out of breath. I don't know if it's going to make it in the edit, but if you were to ISO me in my reaction, I don't have genuine crazy reactions that often. There is a moment where I lose my breath in celebration and bewilderment.
Slam dunk contest, Jimmy. Yeah, I think all of our, or most of our Yankee friends tuning into this know Dan Rourke and Joe's at this point, and those two are entertainment while doing nothing. That with our blitzball setup and the production there, Chris Rose, Peter Moylan in the booth, it's electric. So go check that out. I thought you were going to do our other 2 important Yankee shout-outs.
Well, yeah. Oh, Hutch and Morgan Fost, our most recent Substack subscribers. Thanks to them. Substack has exclusive content, behind-the-scenes content, extra videos just for them. Also, perks whenever we do events, early access, merch discounts, and a way to chat and communicate with us if you would like it. So thank you to those 2 guys who signed up. And, you know, Morgan Fost been with us for a long time.
Yeah.
So always shout out Morgan.
And I don't know if we ever told Morgan this. There was a while at the start where we thought Morgan was a girl's. We thought it's a girl's name. Morgan's a boy.
Yes. I don't know. Maybe you're spoiling
and a nice cat.
Maybe you're spoiling it for him.
Right. We don't know how he operates on the internet, but long time, early talking. You know, some people at the stadium, they dropped the been listening since day one, and it's like, I don't know, because there was only so many listeners that I think we might have surpassed that. Morgan's been there. And yeah, go check out our Substack. We've got a lot of people working hard on that, and we got some good stuff there.
Okay, we will begin with the burns of the games. Oh boy, Game 1 recap is brought to you by Huel.
Yeah, and you want to do
they want that?
You want to do a quick groundskeeping? There's usually a little groundskeeping, then we do the burns, then we do awards, and then we do more awards.
Groundskeeping ASMR.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. He's on it.
All right, I'll just start, and if we get it, we get it. Marcus Stroman goes to the IL with knee inflammation. The X-rays were negative. Yankees added right-hand pitcher Alan Winans to the roster. I thought he was hurt. I guess he's not. And Clark Schmidt is expected to be activated to make his season debut Wednesday, April 16th, the last game of the Royal Series. And Stan has been hitting the trajectory machine. Boone says he's starting to move around more and going outside, so that's good.
Yeah.
And he's going to face live at-bats soon. The other note was that Johnny Loizaga and DJ LeMahieu were facing off against each other in live at-bats. So Watch out, Pablo Reyes and Yogo.
DJ versus Johnny.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that noise is. That sounds like just scratching in my ear.
I think that was a lawnmower in the distance. Weed whacker. Nice. Alan Winans, 29-year-old out of Bakersfield, Jim. You're Bakersfield.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be from Bakersfield, but congrats to him.
Let's see him. And we should, yeah, you said it. Clark's coming back, so hopefully that feels good.
Yeah, could use it.
Could use it.
Game 1. Let's give Huel game 2. It feels so rude to give a sponsor game 1.
Let's get through it. That's a good call. Horrible baseball weather in the Bronx as they welcome the San Francisco treat of Robbie Ray and the Giants. Marcus Stroman got 2 outs in the first, but also gave up 4 hits, 3 walks, and 5 runs. Woof. Whoop, whoop. 5-0 after 1. Would the Yankees have a rally in their bones? Nope. Just an awful time with the rain that led the Yankees to asking to lose the game. Embarrassing night at the stadium. Yankees lose 9-1 in 5.5 innings. Yikes.
Oh, I forgot that is true. That at the end, Boone said, please give us the loss and let's end this. And I understand why he did it because it was the worst conditions I've seen a game like started in. I've seen games finish in bizarre conditions. But like they started that one. It was just bad from the start. And guys were slipping out of the box. And if you want making breakdowns all the time, I get insight into like managers' thoughts and baseball thoughts that I didn't know before because they're kind of just more dugout clubhouse thoughts. That's a big bugaboo for managers. When they see guys swing and slip out of the box, that's like a telltale sign injuries are coming, and you'll see them get really hot when that happens. Because that just means you can't play. Yogo couldn't throw a strike. I understand Boone saying, dude, I don't want to hurt any of my players and I don't want to burn any more pitchers because it's a long series. But when you do boil it down, it's the Yankees begging for mercy and saying we quit.
Well said. I mean, I could twist the knife a little, but for any Yankee fan that had to watch this, the knife was already twisted enough. Yeah, I don't know. I guess sound off in the comments. we don't know where our old man meter is at these days as we're becoming actual old men. But yeah, something about, I was having some Yankees manager on the field asking to lose a game. There's something dark to that. There's something not Yankee about that. At the same time, I was just begging them to stop the game.
Yeah, dude. You know what? I don't know how this works.
Right.
Someone, and Joe's was at the game, but someone tweeted out, like, imagine paying a ton of money to go to that game. Tickets are expensive. And obviously I'm not trying to, I think that they should be refunded. I was trying to soften that because I don't want like anyone getting mad at me or anyone, whatever. I don't have any say. Like I'm not going to start a protest, but like, I think if you were like riding high and you wanted to keep your fans loyal and happy, you'd be like, hey guys, our bad. We'll refund. If you're here, we refund your tickets. Like maybe if you like scanned in, if you actually showed up. Well, no, because people would not go because they don't want to sit in the rain. Like that's brutal. One, just making them sit in that weather, and two, the competitiveness. I don't know how George operated in a business sense back then, but it feels like a real great, I'm the owner and we fucking care about our fans, and this was not what you pay for,
Yeah, and I don't know. They've done stuff like that before in the past, right?
Yeah, I don't know how it was handled in this instance, but like there are times or sometimes they're like a voucher for a future game or something like that. So
that was a brutal product.
Yeah.
And it did make me hate, and Kay was hammering home this point in this game, it did make me hate playing every team, because that's why we were playing in such worse weather these past couple of years than you've seen before, because you used to play against your division 19 times each. So rainouts were super easy. I feel like they used to call games so much quicker. Now it's always so late. And that makes sense because you play every team now and the scheduling is much harder. So that kind of made me think like, all right, that is a kind of a downside. But whatever. This does not excuse the fact that Stroman was as bad as anyone could possibly be. And we'll probably talk about that later.
Yeah, it was non-competitive. So yeah, if you're listening to this episode to hear us talk about Marcus Stroman, you might want to wait till Pride or MFer.
You might want to wait. As far as that, the only other thing I would say is I texted you guys is like, I wish it was 8-5. So I was only mad at Stroman.
Yeah.
But then like the offense wasn't doing anything at all either. So then, that was a bummer.
It's what? Yeah, I don't know. What do you talk about? There's nothing. There was a Wells double. Volpe stole a base. Like that's.
Yeah, no, absolutely nothing. Like, and I want to forget it. So let's just.
Oh, Austin Wells. Oh yeah, the home run double. That was great, dude. The wind in this game. That was the coolest part. The wind in this game was insane.
At Yankee Stadium, I rarely remember watching it and really seeing like the wind. There's just because there's not that much space in the outfield, and other stadiums have more open seating, so like it's more of a thing. But yeah, I've never seen like the wind was crazy.
Yeah, you saw. I mean, world-class defenders, Matt Chapman, Patrick Bailey, were in shock of what was going on. And yeah, that Austin Wells, before that, he should have fouled out, but the ball blew out of play, that he hits the home run. And then there was another Yankee that had a pop-up blow out of play that I was like, hey, if they get a hit on this one, I'm going to start believing. Like, the Ghosts are back in April. Instead, one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Yeah. One last note. Just maybe people went through the same thing. When the game got delayed, I was sitting on my couch and my TV was like, are you still watching? Press OK if you're still watching. And I just
let it ride.
I did not have it in me. The remote wasn't within reach, so I would have had to get up from my spot. And I just did not have that in me. I was like, I'll just check Twitter to see if they resume, knowing good and well they weren't going to resume. Right. Then I missed a lot of the post game too. I was just like, I'd rather not. Like, I wish that happened earlier.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they were just calling it a delay at first. Like, no chance. The Yankees begged to end the game.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, Bob Melvin, kind of funny, where he's like, no, we want them to use their pitchers, and embarrassing. What was I going to say? Oh, the postgame was pretty, Booney was pretty on edge, and then it ended with, oh, yeah, and Marcus isn't doing an interview. He's on his way to the hospital. So, yeah, more Stroman coming later.
All right, let's go to game 2.
Let's heal up before we do that, because it can be difficult when you're busy to find time for a complete meal. That's where today's sponsor, Huel, Huel, comes in. Huel is a global, complete nutrition brand with over 500 million meals sold that you can find in GNC, Amazon, or directly on Huel.com. Their Black Edition ready to drink is a complete meal in a bottle, baby. I don't know if they want me doing that. It has 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins and minerals, or as the Brits say, vitamins. Shout out to all our British listeners. And is low in sugar. For me, mornings are chaos. Out the door in minutes. God, I'm really, I got it tight. If you don't have time for that balanced meal, Huel, the Black Edition, comes up clutch. So join the community of Hooligans with this exclusive offer for new customers, 15% off plus a free gift with the code YANKS at Huel.com. That's 15% plus a free gift for new customers with the code YANKS at Huel.com. Unlock a healthier, easier way to eat with Huel.
I mean, doing the Hooligans ad.
Right.
With Jung Hoo and what he did. Kind of rude, but I appreciate it. Game 2.
It. Would the Yankees have enough will, Warren, to take down this Hicks? Not Aaron, but Jordan for the Giants. Get in my belly. RBI triple for Cody as he gets off the schneid. Good baseball talk. 2-0 Yanks with the underrated sac fly by Goldie. Wilma Flores takes Warren Yard like a good night out. We're tied up at 2, but claps for Will are warranted. 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 6 Ks, and in that 5th inning, the Yanks got 5 on it. The MVPs, Belly and Goldie, get it started, but the youth is going to save us. Anthony and the Martian, baby, they get it done. It's 7-2 Yanks. Flores, more like Flores, 7-4 game. But with all this rain, if you get it wet, just put it in rice. Benny goes boom. Warren to Cruz to Weaver to Leiter to Williams. Yanks win 8-4 final.
A nice bounce back game, Jake.
Yes.
Kind of necessary. Needed it. I will say, Beebs, can you what?
Yeah.
Beebs, can you play all those 5th inning hits? Because I don't think they belong in like an individual thing. But watch these hits. So that was a pitch to Rice, center, and he went to center. Judge gets an inside pitch, takes it to left. Then you got Belly, who gets an 0-2 high fastball, takes it back up the middle. I thought this was so impressive and a fun inning because up next comes Goldie. He gets a 2-seamer. It starts outside, ends up coming inside, but he's able to hit it down the line, like goes with the approach to go oppo with it. And then young Jasson Dominguez comes up, outside curveball, goes with the pitch, and hits it oppo. That is the Yankees, and in between that, Jazz worked a walk. But that is a deep lineup, and if they can figure out how to do that more, just string together some hits across, be able, like that, allowing, if everyone can contribute, it allows guys like Judge and Goldie to not feel like they have to homer on pitches they can't homer on. Like Judge's swing there, that's not a pitch he can really homer, but he can get a hit on it. And if you trust the rest of the lineup, I thought that was, I still have high hopes, and I'm so happy to watch this lineup because I think as the weather turns and we get deeper into the season, they're going to be really fun to watch, and we'll see more of that.
Yeah, and as Yankee fans, we haven't seen a ton of rallies. I mean, if you go back, last year was Judge and Soto being generational. The year before that was the worst season in 30 years. And then the 2 years before that were the sluggo, can't run-o Yanks that, like, we assumed this was out of baseball. We heard of it, or like we'd play the Orioles and be like, wow, they've got a deep lineup that they can beat you a lot of different ways. Ooh, the Diamondbacks, it sounds like they hit a lot. And it's like, oh yeah, if you have a lot of hitters throughout the lineup, you can put together an inning like that. Like you said, 0-2 by Belly. The other 2 hits before that were 2-2. That we haven't gotten a couple years. We haven't had a ton of rallies like that, which I feel like is going to feel more mind numbing the further we get away from it in a couple years. But yeah, this is another example of when the Yankees are right, this is what the offense should look like this year against right-handed pitching.
Yes, and Quest, Inside Edge, they have a stat that I will continue to find. I'm going to search it out right now, but it hasn't been available yet because I think the season's too young. But it is big inning percentage and scoring in more than 3 innings a game. Those are like some stats that I like looking at as, what the hell? Scoring tendency. Yeah. Okay, here.
Heck, man.
3 different innings and big innings. And I believe last year the Yankees were good at scoring in multiple innings. Maybe they were good at the big inning.
They were good at the big inning because the Judge and Soto homer threat. Like at any time they flipped the lineup last year, Yankee fans would sit up in their seats because you're like, oh, we're set up for like a 4-run inning, which again, that's very special and helped get them to the World Series, but half the lineup was missing for half the year. We're getting production from first base. I forgot what that felt like.
I know. Yeah. The other thing about this game, which is game number 2, is I really liked, and this changes in game 3. So for anyone being like, oh, I don't like when they're nice. I thought Boone managed this game really well when it comes to bullpen. I thought it was necessary to do what he did, and I liked it. Obviously, they have a stretch at this point. It was 14 and 14 in a row. But Fernando Cruz gives up 2 runs, mostly due to the Jazz error. He should have had a double play there. Bring Luke Weaver in top of the 6th with runners on to get the last out. That means you're not going to be able to go Weaver straight to Devin Williams, which they weren't able to do. But I think at that point, I don't care. Win this game. You're on a terrible losing streak. Yesterday, you begged the umpire to give you the loss. You got to show some like guts here and say, no, this is an important game. We got to win this game. We'll burn Weaver early, get the biggest out in the game right here, and then he can go again. And then credit to Leiter, who had a shaky inning but got through it. But I thought that was good bullpen management. I don't know if we see that in April that often, but I do think the circumstances of how poor and bad they had been going led to that.
Yeah, it was aggressive, good aggressive, and I think what I would add to what you say that I agree with, getting the 5 from Will Warren. Like, again, there's a little part of me that feels pathetic saying that, but what we've seen from our pitching staff and young Will Warren finding his feet as a major leaguer, that it was just kind of a moment. Hey, the offense, we just talked about the offense doing what we thought this offense could do. Will Warren gives you that effort after one of the most embarrassing. We said the product was so embarrassing the night before, the Yankees should give people tickets to another game because that's not a Yankee product. Dude,
if you're a sports owner, and you got to make out the business sense so it's not horrible, but anytime your team loses by like 10 runs or something, that should also just be like, hey, our bad.
Right. Yeah, that starts getting tricky because then are the fans rooting for you to, like, you're down 8 and the fans are now cheering for the other team. It gets a little.
I think they'll still be pissed.
But yeah, we said this is what a good Yankees offensive day should look like. You got that. You got the effort from Will Warren. You asked for the game to be banged last night. I like the aggressiveness, and it worked.
Game number 3, series on the line.
Game number 3, series on the line. Rubber match in the Bronx where the Yanks would try to not get caught in Logan's web, and Carlos Rodon trying to get back at his former mates. Bottom 1, good as Goldie. Paulie Walnuts bashes an RBI single. It's 1-0. Yanks in the second. JC for 2. Escarra double. Rice, baby. 3-0. The Yanks are rolling. They had Webb on the ropes, but they couldn't knock him out. On a windy weekend in the Bronx, the grandson of wind took down the Yanks.
Wow.
Jung-Hoo Lee with 2 homers off Rodon, including the back-breaking 3-run homer to take the lead in the 6th. There was no rally in their bones today, even though there was a little light jazz to end it. Yanks lose. 5-4 final.
The grandson of wind is pretty cool.
Awesome.
I like that. That's pretty cool. This was a gut punch.
Yeah.
And I will say this, opposite. I did not like how Boone managed this game with the bullpen. Unless he's trying to make Rodon grow in our eyes.
Right.
they gave a hit on that ball that Volpe couldn't get. I think that's an error, but I understand them giving a hit. But if Volpe makes that play, like probably 8 out of 10 times, maybe 9 out of 10, it was very the runner. He would, if he feels it, he would have thrown him out. I looked at the high home to see where the runner was, and then I watched it. I'm like, okay, well. And in my head, I saw that, and the audio of this game, the audio of the last 2 games was very loud. They're like riding the field mics a lot. You could hear Webb screaming. You could hear Rodon screaming. Yeah. You could hear Rodon screaming to on that ball, or maybe it was Wellesley. And you could hear the like, oh. And as I know, as we talked about last ep or 2 episodes ago, and the White Sox announcers knew, when things go bad for Rodon, there's usually an unraveling. And that was the first thing. Then he walks a second batter. When they cut to the shot of the dugout, I was shocked to see it was Matt Blake and not Boone. I thought he was done. Tim Hill for the lefty, the guy who's been killing you all weekend, who hit a homer off Rodon earlier in this game. I thought there was no way they weren't going to Tim Hill there. And I was doing stuff, so I didn't know if he wasn't up or not. Like I didn't, but I thought that was crazy to let Rodon face him a third time with the game on the line when he just went like 2 bad things in a row, because he does have a snowball effect of innings.
Yeah, the leadoff single's tough. The kid's first MLB hit for Koss. Volpe, it looked like he got caught in between. It looked like it was so slowly hit, he was going to barehand it, and then he might have saw that he had more of a shot at Koss than he thought, so then he switched and kind of went back for the glove and then missed it. I don't 8 or 9 out of 10 feels high, but Volpe's defense is also, it's been above, I think, last year in my eyes so far. So maybe I should start holding him to that standard.
I meant that as a compliment to Volpe.
Right.
Like I'm in no way trying to knock Volpe here. That happens. I'm saying Rodon, I could see the unraveling. If you believe in the unraveling of Rodon, that would have been the start.
Yeah, I guess for me, and maybe these are like pre-April 10th thoughts that I need to get rid of, but for Rodon, that was the second hit he gave up, that one that goes under Volpe, and he had been really good. That I guess where I'm flip-flopping, where, again, playing the result, now that we know, it's like, yeah, go to Tim Hill. The other piece of this that I guess puts you on the put Tim Hill in, although the bullpen has also worked, and this is the problem right now without having rotational depth or bullpen depth, it's that I think Boone feels tight that with how Rodon was pitching, they want him to get through that inning, and maybe he's going to lose his next opportunity, and that's what happened today. I guess the other thing that ends up winning the war is that Jung-Hoo Lee was incredible this series, and there's some people around baseball that are looking at him as better than a good player. Like, this isn't their 8-hole guy who put together a nice weekend. Like, there's some people in baseball that think Jung-Hoo Lee could win the batting title this year, that Jung-Hoo Lee could be an MVP type votes player, that when you do put all of it in the blender, yeah, it's go to Tim Hill. But I think Boone's horrified of his bullpen depth and rotation depth.
I think it has to do with 14 games in a row. It has to do with they need long outings from the starters. I think other circumstances led to this. And if it was just how do I win this game without any context on the outside,
Correct.
Which I'm not saying is a fair way to judge an April 13th game, but I think if there were no outside worries about the bullpen, the other starters, you bring in your double play ground ball guy,
right,
and put him in the game instead of leaving your fly ball guy starter who's getting seen for the third time against the guy who homered against him. And, Rodon starts last year. He got crushed third time through. He's not like, I don't think he's like earned the ace. Like, no, that doesn't bother him. But I understand the outside circumstances, and it's early in the season. But I was a little shocked. And then he goes to the breaking ball instead of the slider, which I don't know. If the guy's on your slider, the curveball is just a little slower like if you think he's sitting slider, I think the curveball is a decent, easy adjustment. And then it was a horrible execution.
didn't like the pitch call, didn't like the execution. And I thought it was pretty funny on the broadcast that they were talking, like, I think it was O'Neill who said, yeah, he hit your slider, but you threw a bad slider. Like, if you throw a good slider this a bit, like, it's not like he got your best one, so make sure you execute. And yeah, his location with the fastball had been great. But yeah, that's where Paul O'Neill finds his ways to cut deep. He's like, that's Rodon's third, probably his fourth best pitch. I'd take the changeup. It's tough to like any part of that. And I forgot the 13 and 13 that Boone, especially yesterday, going to Luke Weaver in the 6th inning. Nothing's been easy for the bullpen. Like, looking at the pitch counts, Friday and Saturday, no reliever was under 15 pitches. There's only one reliever under 19 pitches. So like when these guys have been out there, it's just been so grindy. Like we haven't had the Tim Hill 6-pitch inning or Luke Weaver mows him down with 11. That I think Boone's managing a little scared right now, and I probably would be too.
Yeah. He pinch hit Wells for Oswaldo at the end, hunting for the home run.
Escarra,
fine with that move.
Escarra, bro. I don't know if that makes it to awards. 3-0 in the 8th inning. Jazz homers. And you and me have a whole theory where we've brought to Talkin' Yanks that we've ready to break baseball with, that like, if you have your 9-hitter up, it's almost valuable to get them out, to just have your top of the lineup coming up in the 9th inning. Like, give yourself your best shot to score. Escarra is the 8th hitter. He's got a 3-0 count to one of the grossest throwing pitchers in the majors. And he hacks and he grounds out to first. And Escarra's been fine as the backup catcher. Maybe this is my old school is showing again. I said it next to Beebs watching the game. I was like, I got 2 takes here. Never mind 3-0 swing. And I know that new baseball, that breaks some people's heads because they're like, well, if 3-0 is the best pitch you get, that's the pitch you got to hit. Well, situations matter. Have we not found this out over the last 10 years of analytical baseball? Situations matter. Like, if he walks and, okay, then you can pinch hit Austin Wells, and what if he does go yard? Or you flip the lineup that now you've got Judgy. Like, that was really frustrating for me.
Yeah. 3-0 world is much different these days.
I
Funky
get
pitcher.
It. A lot of the times I get it, and I support it, but backup catcher, 8th inning, flip the lineup, 1-run game, and even... I know it happened quick. I don't know if you're talking about this either, but the ball that gets past Goldie, I know it took a funky hop, but he olays that pretty hard. That would the Jazz homer have tied the game? So icky feelings.
That was a tough play.
It was a tough play. Like, I'm not blaming Goldie for not fielding it, but it's a little old school. Get your body behind it or something.
The Escarra one, they also made a great play at first. I think that is probably a hit majority of the time, or expected batting average probably looks nice on it because I think he hit that ball hard, and they made a nice play at first
on the ground. Never been a home run hit on the ground.
No, but that's all right.
Kinda.
All right, you want to do second half of the show?
Let's do the second half of the show, and it's brought to you by DraftKings. The weather is warming up, which means it's time to head to your favorite ballpark, cheer on the home team, or watch from your couch and play some bets. Did some of that this weekend. Right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you use code JMBaseball. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use code JMBaseball. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code JMBaseball only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
First award.
Pride of the Yankees.
Pride
of the Yankees.
Pride of the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yes.
I could do it first.
Yes.
Might give it to Chris Grimm,
Right.
who set up my office for me. Looks
Yeah.
pretty nice, right?
You look great.
No more laptop. I'm actually looking at you
Right.
because we have like a projector. No, we have a What's the things where you put the words on it and you read it?
Teleprompter?
Yes.
Pretty didn't know I had
Right
that.
in front of the, so like your face is here and the camera's here.
Nice.
It's cool.
That's
Good
cool.
job. Looks great. Send a picture to you.
Nice.
Kind of small. My pride of the Yankees is, do you think there's a consensus here?
I have one guy I'm kind of excited about.
It's a guy that statistically could deserve it, but I don't know. We're giving it to Weaver a bunch.
You love Luke Weaver. You love Luke Weaver.
Yeah. I do. True. I am giving it to, oh shit, I lost everything.
You lost everything.
I don't think he's gotten one yet, and I think he deserves one.
Okay.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Okay, sure.
I think he deserves a pride. I think he's been doing well. And there's some interesting talking points about him that we were texting. I was texting you guys about, because his offensive profile is very interesting right now. He hasn't hit a ball. He's hit 2 balls over the outfielders' heads.
Right.
I don't know if you have that spray chart, Beebs, if it's easy to put up there, but he's hitting a lot of balls in between infield and outfield, line drives that just land. He's gone down the right field line, I think 4 times now. And I watched those, and the deepest one was the one in Pittsburgh that hit off the fence, and that one was over the outfielder's head. The other 2, if it's not Yankee Stadium, I think the right fielder can get behind them. You know, because they were like line drives that
Right.
maybe. So he hasn't hit the ball over the outfielder's head that much, which sometimes I'm like, okay, is his expected batting average way lower? Is this kind of showing that, like, you know, right now he's lucky they're just finding holes? No, he has the highest expected batting average in baseball, top 1% at least. And then I went and watched him a bunch, and they're just really compact line drives that he's spraying. And well, do those turn into homers later? Do we need them to turn into homers? I guess those are questions you can ask. His line drive percentage right now is 38%. His career is 26. MLB average is 24. So the amount of line drives he's hitting is wild. And his ground ball percentage is 29%, which is well below his career average of 41 and the MLB average of 44. So yeah, he hasn't hit it past the outfield yet, but he's getting it past the infield with ease, like hitting it hard and over their heads or right by them. Just kind of an interesting thing. Someone in our chat said Goldschmidt.
Yeah.
What's his middle name? Because then we could do P.J. Goldschmidt.
Edward.
P.E. Goldschmidt. That doesn't really make sense as much as if it was J. Would have been perfect.
Would have been perfect.
Paulie Goldschmidt. But he has been very consistent. So that's why he's getting my pride. And I wanted to give him my pride before he botched that play in the 8th inning.
Right.
Because there were some standout defensive plays in this series, and there have been lately with Goldie, which have been nice. He saved a bounce throw on Saturday, I think. He had a nice diving play to his right as well. So he was flashing leather, and then he got eaten up by that kind of in-between chopper. But it wasn't enough to take away his pride from me, Jake.
Okay. As long as you're proud of him.
I am.
Thought you could even go the other first baseman, but Paul's been great.
I've given him twice already.
Right. Paul's been great. Yeah, and this is, let's see the next steps. Like, if we get this version or a close version to this of Paul Goldschmidt all year, that changes the Yankees equation, man. Because he is hitting it all around. He had that one ball today robbed by Matos. That was a Yankee Stadium ball. But we're playing a Yankee Stadium. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch a ton of Paul Goldschmidt throughout his career, that I don't know how often he's lived inside out, but he's clearly kind of living inside out, and he thinks he can get it to that porch, and when he's not getting it to the porch, he's getting hits. So, yeah, he's got that one home run he turned on. Let's see what the rest of it looks like. But yeah, I mean, him, and I know I keep throwing Rice in the mix, but God, those two have both been so refreshing.
Yes. As agree.
And that pick on the Volpe ball was very nice. Very in between. Okay, nice, dude.
Thanks.
He had a big couple series. You didn't take who I wanted.
You're welcome.
I wanted Will Warren.
Oh.
Jim, pride of the Yankees. What makes you feel proud? I just watched the Yankees embarrass themselves. The Yankees manager begged for a game to be a loss. I partially agreed with it. Will Warren comes out. Dude, if he pooped the bed, that would have been a bad time. I know you don't want to celebrating a 5-inning start, but for Will Warren, this was a big one, man. If he came out and he had a bad day, this whole series ends up on its head and feels so bad. He comes out 5 innings. Wilmer Flores clips him in the 2nd inning, and there was a moment of like, oh boy, is this gonna end up sideways? And it didn't. So on the day before that, the starting pitcher didn't get get through the 1st inning. This was it was big for this Yankees weekend, and it was big for Will Warren.
It was. Needed it. Needed him to get through 5, especially now that he's staying in the rotation with Stroman going on the IL.
Yeah.
I don't see it yet with Will Warren. I thought I did at spring training a little bit, but so I have my reservations. But I have 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the sweeper plays. I think he has an MLB sweeper. Is the fastball, and is that enough to get you through innings regularly? I don't know. Can the changeup become something for him? Yeah, I'm going to push that down the road a little bit because I don't want to think about the stress of it. But hey, maybe we'll see an evolution in this guy, like we saw King take, we saw Clark take that. And I don't know if it's going to happen now, but God, for one day we really needed it, and he had it.
Yeah, he's I think he's generated like the least amount of swings against, and he'll get swings and misses in the zone. But I think when he gets guys to chase, they can spoil it, which means like there's enough time for them to kind of get buckled and then spoil it or reach it.
Well, yeah, and maybe if they're not afraid of the fastball because the fastball's sitting 92, that they're just sitting on the slider and ready for it.
I think that's the pitch he's got the most swings out of the zone on. Like in this game, that was the stat that I kind of was like, that's interesting. Oh, I just got out of it. In this game, I believe the pitch he had the most swing and miss on, like they chased it and whiffed it. It was out of the zone. They swung at it and they missed it, was the 4-seam fastball, which is you don't think that would be the pitch there.
Yes, 4-seam fastball technically has the best numbers for him this year.
Because he's hiding it until the end of at-bats.
Right.
And if so facto, I'm going to guess the sinker has horrible numbers because that's what he's throwing earlier.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, okay, like if they reverse those, would it be different? I don't know. You need some velo, I think, at some points.
Yeah. Just locate it. Spot it.
Spot it. Out of zone swing percentage was 50% whiff rate on the 4-seam fastball. That was 57 on the sweeper. So I was wrong.
Okay.
Needed 5 from him.
Needed 5, got 5.
Next up, you Yankees.
You Yankee motherfucker.
I will take the chalk here
No.
and go with my man, Marcus Stroman. Beebs, if you have that video I tweeted, I think everyone that has not seen that needs to watch it. Almost unbelievable. Almost needed to tweet that to share with the rest of the baseball world, the non-Yankee fans that like almost was so aghast that I was like, hey, look at what we had to watch tonight.
Yeah.
And Jake and I have talked about this for a year now. Like probably in April of last year, we were like, hey, watching Stroman pitch is odd, huh? Wells goes all the way out there and he just tries to dance around that line. Doesn't matter the batter. He just tries to dance around the glove side line. These were all in the first inning, obviously. He didn't get out of the first inning. That has to be maybe the most non-competitive pitches ever thrown in a single inning by one pitcher. No one has those stats because it's an arbitrary stat, but crazy. Was watching it and just like I just kept reacting like, what? Like, oh my God. Like, dude, do something. And maybe he brings it in, he's gonna get hit even more. But that was man, it was like the worst watch ever. 5 runs before an out. And then like not even going at him. Like then his leg injury, Boone said, hopefully it's a very quick thing. And hopefully it's kind of the cause of some of the things we're seeing in his like recently on the mound. I'm like, okay, all right.
Hope so too.
Now I'm going to say, I'll phrase this way.
Right.
Because I hate to pass skepticism or cynicism or questions on injury checks. What are the odds Stroman left before media and the Yankees were like, we need to save your ass, dude?
50%. Is that low? Is that high?
I don't know. Again, I hate to throw those out there, but in your gut, when they say, oh, actually, he's not going to do his post game, he had to go get checked. It's like, okay,
Jim,
that seems very much like fan base service in a way.
Jim, I was thinking about this too, because we have such a platform at this point that, it's a little different than 2018 hopping on the mics, and we can't kind of just throw out like Stroman wasn't hurt. Like we kind of can't do that anymore if we're just being honest with the people. I think the best way to say it is like, there's a chance, man, and it could be a high chance. It could also not. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he's going to be back in 3 weeks and he's going to look better. Because again, we ended up back on the Stroman hype train to start this season, where we were like, hey, he got off to a hot start last year. The Yankees defense was ass. What I watched on my TV, excluding the weather and before the Yankees wanted to lose, that was the least competitive start I've ever seen. Like I've seen guys get rocked at tipping pitches, and we do that sometimes. It's like, oh, did they have him? Did they not? Maybe it was just baseball. Maybe it was good swings. He wasn't competing. So I hope he was hurt. How about that?
Nestor's game is an interesting comparison because Nestor gave up 3 home runs on the first 3 pitches.
Right. I'd much rather have that.
Yeah. He wasn't competing. And that's his whole thing. And like maybe he is like he's like, no, that's my strategy. And it's like, it looks bad when it doesn't work. That's all I can say then. And didn't work.
I mean,
it was bad. So he's my MFer.
In that montage, a lot of hitters are yes, yes, no. You see them get their hands and get ready. They didn't even get to the first yes. Like the hitters give up on the pitch because there's no need. Like
they're not good.
Like Matt Chapman's just like, what? Like this isn't. I mean, dude, it looked like, and again, we love that Marcus is short because we happen to be short. And he's like an all-time shorty pitcher. But that image kind of looked like a pedestrian trying to not give up a hit in a baseball game.
It was weird. It was weird. It was a really bad watch. He does pitch like that a lot. Like he does throw a lot of pitches like that. So it's not that much different than normal, but when it looks bad, when it's not going right, it looks very bad.
Yeah, I usually it's an 0-1 count, and you're like, I get it. And then you see one of the swings on those pitches, and you're like, okay, I get it a little more. But it was every pitch. So, yeah, hey, get that knee better. We'll see you back in the Bronx.
Who's your MFer?
My Yankee MFer. You picked a good one. I was debating him. My Yankee MFer. Let's just rip the Jazz Band-Aid. He gets that homer at the end that ends his 0 for 24. 0 for 24 or 23. I think 24. He hits the home run. We have high expectations for Jazz. There was a while when we were doing debates around the office of like who's the most dependable Yankees hitter this year after Judge, and a lot of people voted Jazz just because he had done it for the Yankees. Really tough stretch. He clearly hates the cold. I'm with him. I'm about it. So yeah, hopefully it's classic baseball and that home run gets him hot for this next series, and we talk about him as the pride. But yeah, hasn't been as much torpedo talk with Jazz's bat, although I do think the torpedo bat helped his home run today. But yeah, that's 0 for 24. I could have stopped there.
And the error against Cruz, that stunk. Yeah. I was going to give Jazz an award maybe later on the show about just like you're the best award, because he said recently, like, if you're not telling yourself you're the best every day, you're going to be awful at this game. Like, you need to have confidence to play it. So I'll like subscribe to that. And right now he needs to be told he's the best more than he has in the past. Read through lines if you want. I don't care. I just read an update about him because he's getting Boone singled him out as someone who hates the cold.
Yeah.
Doesn't like playing in the cold. So they asked about him in the cold. And he said, they asked, how do you adjust to a cold? And Gary Phillips tweeted that he said he goes in the hot tub before chilly games. And then the rest of the stuff is fine. Wears extra layers, uses hot stuff, a lot of Vaseline. Someone tell him not to go in the hot tub before chilly games.
Yeah.
That's maybe the worst thing you could do.
That's a nap.
That's just going to make you tired and then going to make the cold feel colder.
That's like every high school coach's nightmare.
I just tweeted out, yeah, like in hockey and stuff, you weren't allowed to go in the hot tub on game day. That was the rule. If we were on like a hockey tournament, that was the coach's rule. But like I tweeted out, like, go in the kitchen freezer.
Right.
And then outside won't feel as cold. Like, we use donuts on the bat for a reason.
Right.
You're not going to use a lighter bat. So then your bat feels heavier.
Right.
Going in the hot tub before going outside.
Remind us to tell Boone that. And, I know we pick our chances to give advice 100%.
That's crazy.
Can't be.
I mean, Lance Lynn used to wear a sweatshirt on 100-degree days every day he wasn't pitching. So when it was his turn to pitch, then he'd take the sweatshirt off and he'd be like, well, this isn't as hot as before. Don't know if this logic is backed by science, but it's pretty common. You can't go in a hot tub, then go outside. That's how I literally get sick when I do that.
I'm out.
I was going to say, that's actually dangerous if you do that wrong.
Yeah, I used to do like on ski trips. I go like hot tub, then like snow, hot tub, and then I got like so sick. Twice in my life I've done that and gotten really sick. But it is fun in the moment. Be hot tub,
in the moment.
Ice water, polar plunge, hot tub. Can't be doing that, Jazz. Come on now.
That's tough. He did again. Hey, he's about to get hot, and he did again. We haven't gotten a lot of Yankee moments because there hasn't been a lot of Yankees guys like Jazz before. Him and assistant hitting coach Pat Rossler, who he was in the cage with before the game, getting extra reps in. They got in like a wrestling match. It was romantic, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, you hadn't seen a lot of that in a Yankees dugout before. We got it on the screen right now. He's like,
this isn't even today's.
No, he's like biting him. He kind of like gives him a back hug and kind of goes a little nuts on him. I like it.
I like it, and I think Jazz's MFer is obviously earned and great. I will say I'm still high on him over the course of the season and what he brings.
I am.
All right, same page then.
Same page.
Next up in the show is something that everyone can understand and get used to. They are regular old awards.
And Jim,
yeah.
Regular old awards are brought to you by Harry's. You got to
Harry's.
get rid of your Harry's with Harry's. They can use that. In pro sports, even a little edge can be the winning advantage. And in shaving, Harry's gives you the sharpest edge with their razors. In an industry of overpriced and underperforming products, Harry's is your everyday MVP. I've got a little Scrags. I'm bringing this bad boy home with me. But their products come in clean packaging, and they look great in your bathroom. More importantly, they give you a great shave. Harry's German-engineered blades made in their own factory that stay sharp longer. That's good. Customizable delivery options for scheduled refills as low as $2. And right now, you can get a 5-blade razor, weighted handle. This does feel nice. Foaming shave gel and a travel cover for just $3 at harrys.com/yanks. Get the edge on your shave with Harry's. Normally, their trial set is $13, but right now you can get it for free at harrys.com/yanks. That's our exclusive link, harrys.com/yanks, $3 trial.
Thank you, Harry's. Oh, dude. Sorry.
What was that? What was all that?
It's bad. I was watching the Masters, and Rory had a bad tee drive.
Dang.
I was thinking how much pressure it is. Like,
Yeah.
Tee box, back last. They say it's the hardest in the world, back nine in Masters on day 4, but anyway.
Okay.
Regular old awards. I get to go first. It's award time. It's award time. I'm gonna go with the man. I texted it to you, Beebs, and I'm so glad I did because otherwise I forget what I was gonna say. And I don't know how easy this is for you to guess.
Okay.
Oh. I'm going to change it from what I texted you, Beebs, it was going to be, but the same player. This is the A Little Oomph Award.
A Little Oomph Award.
A Little Oomph Award.
Who needed a little oomph? Belly?
No, but it's not who needed it.
Oh.
It's maybe
That's
who
what
displayed
that's what you'd
some.
assume from the hint.
You know, who displayed some.
Right.
I'll give you a re-guess.
I don't want it.
Devin Williams.
Mmm.
Devin Williams' first 2 batters walk on mostly fastballs. I think it was a 5-pitch walk. He threw 1 changeup. Then a double on 2 fastballs in a row. And at that point, I tried to look at the metrics, couldn't find anything besides spin rate. Was a little bit better. Arm angle seemed higher on some, but there wasn't enough for me to say, like, this is different. So all I can surmise from the eye test is that Devin Williams buckled down and was like, fuck this, and added a little oomph to the pitches because all of a sudden the changeup started looking way better.
Yeah.
Like the changeup he was throwing in Detroit felt like what Stroman was doing, like non-competitive, not pitching downhill, no conviction or intensity behind him. After the 2 getting on, and then I think it was Lee who he said, if I'm losing on my changeup. And he threw 3 changeups, changeup swinging, and then maybe foul ball. And then what was the third one? It was high. Was it called strike? The first one was called strike, then swinging, then I think swinging again. But anyway, 3 changeups in a row. And they were nice. And then he goes on to throw more changeups. He gets a ground ball to Jazz to end the game. And yeah, all I can tell you is that from my viewpoint, he buckled down, was like, no, this ends, and added a little oomph to the delivery.
Yeah, as we've dug through our Devin Williams stuff, his first month is easily the worst month of his career, significantly. And yeah, I mean, maybe there's something there to throwing this unique pitch that really he only throws, that he needs to find that grip and that arm angle and that arm action for it to come together. And I don't know if the light bulb went on for the rest of the season. I hope it does, because then we're going to be in tune for something special. But you're right. I mean, those following after those first two, like if you sent the tape of every hitter before that and then after those first two hitters, it looked like a different cat. And yeah, maybe it was a little more oomph, or just kind of that, yeah, it's like, fuck this. Like, I'm Devin Williams. But yeah, Yankee fans are starting to just get a little antsy with it, especially with your guy Luke just winning people's hearts. It was good to see that from Devin Williams.
I agree.
You agree with me?
I agree. I agree that you agree. What is Joe saying?
I agree with me.
I agree with you and me. That's what he says, yeah. Your first award.
I'm giving out the anti-Voit.
Anti-Voit.
The anti-Voit.
Ben Rice.
Say that's where a novice would jump. Jim, when I talked about Luke Voit on this program a lot, I often talked about how the cutaway, they would cut to wherever Luke Voit was running, and I was wrong every time. I even tried to adjust, whether it was running to first or beating a double play or scoring. Whenever the cameras cut to Luke Voit running, I was in shock of where he was 2 strides behind where I thought he should be. The Martian, Jasson Dominguez. He hits a ball in the gap today. Lands between the left fielder and the center fielder. Nice little Yankee Stadium jobber there. Doesn't get to the wall. It's kind of a weird shape to it. Lands in the grass. When they cut to Dominguez on this, nice swing. Center fielder was shaded towards right center. Cuts it off. Dominguez was a couple strides ahead of where he was. I was wondering, I was like, ooh, that ball gets down. Outfielder catches it before the wall. I know Dominguez is fast, but is this going to be... I start doing the baseball math. Does the Giants left fielder have a good arm? Is this going to be a close play? He was in there standing up, jogging easy. So, we heard Dominguez flies down to first. We haven't seen a ton of it. But yeah, this was my first, wow, they cut, and Dominguez was 2 strides ahead of where I thought he would be.
Game 2, he had a single. One of his 2 hits was a single that they had to go to replay, and he was like, Booney, I'm safe. And he's pretty fast there, too.
Yes. He was very safe.
Yeah, he's very safe. He's very fast. And I feel bad for some people out there that maybe, how do I phrase this? I feel bad for people that don't know that baseball's doing them dirty, I guess. That's not what I'm trying to say. Trying to say is, if baseball listened to me and treated switch hitters like 2 different people,
right?
The fan base would not be, because I'm seeing a lot of it in our comment section on YouTube, on social media. Like, Dominguez can't hit; he's having a bad year. And yeah, if you look at his stats, Jake, 233 batting average, 313 OBP, 372, and you are the whole of your parts. So that is not; those aren't good numbers. But against righties, who he will see majority of the time, because you face more righties than lefties throughout a season, he's hitting 391
right,
with a 609 slugging. So he's got a 1 OPS against right-handed pitchers, and he maybe even better, because that doesn't include today. I'm not positive.
I would guess it ticked up today with a double and a walk.
Yeah. It's just that, right, like he's had the same amount of at-bats, because the Yankees have faced a lot of lefty starters over the course of the season. He's gonna get more plate appearances versus righties than lefties, at least starters wise. Because against the other side of that is he's awful. So he's really 2 different people. So don't say like Dominguez stinks. He has not off to a good start. You say right-handed Dominguez, brutal. DFA, right-handed Dominguez. You can say that,
right,
if you want to be like a reactionary and, rooting for DFAs. But then you say left-handed Dominguez is an all-star.
Yes, and they have been facing so many lefties. I mean, it's so ironic to the 23 season where they had none, and teams were literally moving their lefties around the Yankees to not face them because the Yankees were so right-handed that now here they are. We're still looking for like a righty outfield bat. We'll see if that happens at any point this season. Dominguez has been really good. The defense, no questions. And that was kind of my thing earlier in the year. Like, dude, as long as you catch fly balls, you're going to play, even if you don't hit lefties, which he's not. But yeah, it looks like in this upcoming stretch, the Yankees, I think 9 out of 10 righties. So you're right. It's kind of an interesting thing going on. Like Yankee fans should be like the way we're going nuts for like how good Ben Rice has looked. Yankee fans should kind of be feeling that way about Dominguez. It's just been so many lefties.
Yes. Yeah. Because and the hitting from the left side is nuanced. It's nice. Like
Yes.
I said earlier, he takes breaking balls the other way. He can hit homers. He can hit line drives. He can beat out ground balls because he's on the left side, so he's even faster. Like, it's not just one beat right now. He's a complete hitter from the left side. From the right side, nothing going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if he's in between because he's taking more pitches from the right side, or if he just knows he doesn't he doesn't have as much going, so he's looking for one pitch and trying to walk. But yeah, it's going to be one of the storylines of the season if Dominguez can figure it out hitting right-handed, or the Yankees going to have to solve that.
Yeah. Okay. My next award is going to be, oh, dude, I don't know. There's not much to, like, I feel like we have to talk about through here.
Okay.
So this feels like such a lame award to give out.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's something more substantial we have to talk about that, like over the course of these episodes we haven't, or can I just do this award? You're done good award.
What was that?
I said what I said.
You're done good?
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's Yarbrough.
See, I was giving you a layup.
Okay.
That was nice of me.
All right.
Mark it down.
Best hint
Jimmy
you've
was
given
nice.
all year.
Yarbrough had a bad outing. I think he got an MFer from me at one point. But, man, that game one sucked. Would have sucked a lot worse if Yarbrough came out and was just as bad for multiple reasons. I like being able to be like, no other pitchers were able to do it, just you, Stro, because otherwise it would be, it would be shared blame. So it's not shared blame.
Right.
For the rest of the series, Yarbrough comes out, he pitches 2.2. I thought he could have gone more. I was a little confused why he didn't. I don't know what he stretched out to. 48 pitches, 2 more than Stroman threw. Gives up no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk. And that's his job. I think you want him to go more, but that's not his call. But if they were able to utilize the bullpen in game 3 and bring Hill in earlier for Rodon, like I think you look back and Yarbrough saved him a lot there and allowed them to be in it and use them. Boone didn't use him game 3, but he could have. So it's a second award of the show. It's you're done good. You're darn good, Yarbrough.
You're done good. Yeah, I think there was a little bit, and maybe it's just because I don't know if the Yankees bullpen knows what it is yet. I don't think they do. Like Hamilton, I don't know if Hamilton's we're up 2 or down 2 guy right now, but
he's always been a down 2, but everyone treats him like an up 2.
Yeah, but he's doing this with Hill too, and I think it's a little bit just the thinness of the bullpen. Like Tim Hill pitched in this game. They're like the Yankees winning and losing formula is kind of too similar right now in the bullpen. So I need that cleaned up. But yeah, I think there was a point in that Friday night game that I think Boone went back to managing to win, and then Hamilton and Hill got hit. that I think Boone was tipping his hat to Yarbrough, like, hey, you did your job. Let me keep this tight for a couple more innings before I go to Yogo. But the guys he went to keep it tight didn't keep it tight. But yeah, that's Yarded good.
You're done good.
You're done good. I'll wrap it up with the Bring That to Boston award.
Bring that to Boston.
Bring that to Boston.
When do we go to Boston?
Bring that to Boston.
Bring that to Boston.
Bring that to Boston.
Damn, I have no idea. Bring that to Boston.
Bring that to Boston. You okay?
Ben Rice.
Cody Bellinger. Belly's triple that he hit ends up, kind of the Yankee Stadium thing you and I like to bring up. The Yankee Stadium actually doesn't grade out as a hitter's park. Belly hits one high in Oppo that doesn't get out. It ends up taking a carom, and he goes into third. That hopefully gets him heating up a little bit. Another guy who doesn't like the cold, by the way, if we're going to put Jazz down for that. But Cody's not taking hot tubs before the game. Anyways, hey, bring that swing to Boston, and that's deep over the monster. That might be onto the next street. So as Belly, we learn who he is as an everyday baseball player. Hey, bring that one to Boston, and we'll be good.
Okay. Bring it to Boston.
Do we need to talk about Yogo kind of getting embarrassed?
No, I don't know if we've ever had to talk about Yogo.
Okay.
I don't know if people know who he is.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I got mad at his beard. I know you've been worried about getting flack for that. I'm wondering if there's an evolution of this Yankee thing of like, hey, you could have to earn kind of having a beard as a Yankee, but yeah, it was a tough game for me. It was tough weather. I'm taking those thoughts back.
His beard's weird.
Yes.
With or without frustrations of the rules, it looks like you gave it to like trader and they just drew on the perfect balance of stubble from Adam's apple to mustache with no like separation or stylization. And maybe he's trying to keep it clean. But it's an odd looking one.
It's almost too tight. Yeah. And yeah, Yogo throwing 86 mile per hour heaters. He might have got the word from Boone. That game should have been rained out.
That's what I tweeted. Yogo hit the mascot 5 times. We need to get out of here. Prove it's slippery.
Anything else, pal?
Well, we got the Does This Matter segment of the show that I'll send your way.
Ben Rice, good.
That matters.
That matters. He's really
good.
Here
we go. Jake, do these stats matter? Opponents are hitting just 0.45 against Yogo this season, tied for 4th best among qualified relief pitchers.
Does not matter.
Austin Wells has an on-base percentage of just 0.91 versus relief pitchers this season, lowest in the American League.
Does not matter. I believe in Wellesley. Good pinch hit swing today, just didn't connect.
Pago is batting .533 with 2 outs this season, which is the best in Major League Baseball.
Who is that?
Pago. Paul Goldschmidt.
You're not calling Paul Goldschmidt Pago, are you?
Yogo, Pago.
Like a cartoon lizard. Rango. Yeah, that matters. Paul Goldschmidt's the best.
All right. Jazz Chisholm has 23 strikeouts for 61 plate appearances this season, the highest in the AL.
Might matter a little bit. I've had my Jazz strikeout sensor up for a while. There's some at bats that it's just not there, but strike out as long as you're hitting and stealing and stuff.
Starting to matter, you'd say?
It could matter. Like there could have been something in the scouting report that now is out. I don't know.
We'll stay with Jazz here. Jazz Chisholm has 5 home runs in his home ballpark, which is tied for first in Major League Baseball. He is tied with Aaron Judge.
Lefty, porch, Jazz, lefty. Matters.
The Yankees are walking way too many batters.
Matters. It's got to stop.
It's bad. Booney's talking about it in his postgame, his
Crazy.
pregame, but it's really bad.
Crazy. Because that's like, I think we've talked about it before. That's a little bit of Matt Blake's party trick, is that he gets wild pitchers to be less wild. But yeah, it's been tough to watch.
No one's chasing, so just be in the zone.
Yeah.
That was the change Warren kind of made, was he was throwing his pitches in the zone. Yeah, that one matters big time. And it's also not a stat. It was just something I added.
Okay.
Hitters have swung at 35% of Will Warren's pitchers this season, second lowest in Major League Baseball. I already used that stat in the show, so.
Then it matters.
Okay. Mark Leiter has thrown his curveball 41% of the time on the first pitch of at-bats this season, second highest among qualified relief pitchers.
It matters. He's an important part of the team right now.
Ben Rice entered today with an OPS of 1.122, which is second best in the American League. Judge is first.
Baseball savant looks pretty, man. He's got a chance. Those minor league numbers were incredible.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Beat the
Go watch
Royals.
Joe's McFly versus Dan Rourke tonight. Warehouse Games. Wugas versus Del Caribe. Joe's only has to get one out. For a while, he had never gotten an out.
I believe in Joe's McFly.
I believe in Joe's McFly. Appreciate you. We'll be back with Booney Tuesday. Should be. Go Yanks. Tell him, Grams.
Go Yankees.
Go Yankees. Aw.